make a quick video. We've got more videos coming up about things that are happening on the farm, but I just wanted to make a short video for you. And this one is about what I've learned. I'm JC. This is Nat. Together we've helped hundreds of foreigners get more life for less money by having a retirement in Thailand. Now we've set out on a new adventure with the help of Danoi, Kakao, and Gopher. Together, join us on our journey while we turn this into this and make a full forest and help make Thailand green again. You know, doing this whole project during this time in history has reinforced a lot of beliefs and concepts that I've had throughout my life, and they seem to be more relevant now than ever before. So I just want to share a few things with you, and then the next video will be, you know, the progress on the farm. But one of the first things I wanted to mention was the need to become self-reliant or self-sufficient. What I mean by that is, I think it's a good time in history to be doing what we're doing, or for people to have backyard gardens, or some way, a stockpile of food, just in case something happened that you're not expecting. And this is our way of doing that. Hopefully we'll have solar power, we got our own well, we're going to have some fruits and vegetables, and be able to hang out and survive and not rely on, you know, the grid and the government and stuff like that. So I just wanted to mention, I think it's a really good time to become more self-reliant or self-sufficient. Also, I wanted to mention, you know, doing this at my age, aging carries specific challenges, and I'm noticing those more and more as I get older and I'm trying to do things that I haven't done. I've been a lounge lizard for quite a few years, and so that's all changing, and I'm doing more work. And the things that I've noticed as I get older is now that it takes longer in the morning to start my engine, and that is to get going and you know, motivate myself to go do physical labor, hard work. And the reason why it's harder in the morning is because, you know, I work real hard the day before, and I'm noticing more aches, and it's easier to injure myself, and it takes longer to recover. And so I just wanted to mention that. So now I need to take more care and precautions. And I think this is real important for everybody that gets up in age. You know, don't put yourself out there to where you have the opportunity to get hurt. Try and stay healthy and take precautions. Because if something happens that dramatically influences your health, it takes a lot longer, just like it does with finances. It takes a lot longer to recover. And so that's something that I think we should all pay attention to as we get older, to not put ourselves out on the limb and do anything that's going to cause a problem with our health and injure ourselves in some way. I've also become more cognizant of what goes in my body the older I get. You know, you see young people. When I was young, I ate a lot of junk food and stuff like that until I became a vegetarian, which was pretty young. And then I started to be aware of that. But now as I get older, I think it's more important. You know, we're trying to use natural deodorants, natural products, eat more fruits and vegetables, get sunshine, the vitamin D, because all this keeps your immune system really strong, which is much better than relying on some kind of chemical to keep you safe and keep you well. And the example I would, you know, use is, you know, I wake up in the morning and, you know, oh, I have aches and pains, and, you know, sometimes holding on to a weed eater or something for an hour. You know, my hand seems like, oh, I never had arthritis before. But the difference is between taking an anti-inflammatory as opposed to eating anti-inflammatory foods or herbs or spices like turmeric or something like that. you know, you have options. And so always choose the natural option, because I think it's harder to detoxify your body from some of these chemicals as we get older. And I want to keep as much of them out of my life as I can. And that's one of the reasons why we're trying to do this farm naturally and do it syntropic and try not to use pesticides or herbicides, because I don't want to, you know, have better living through chemistry. And I'm aware, fully cognizant of the chemical industry. You know, my father was a pharmacist, and I use this example when a detail man came in one time and told him about some sweetener that his company was going to come out with, and said, we're not sure if it'll be approved because it's got so many side effects, but if it is, you should have stock in the company, stock up on our stock. And turns out that it did get approved, even though, like he said, there was a lot of side effects, and that was NutraSweet. And you know, the chemical name is aspartame. And so I understand that it's a risk and reward when it comes to chemical companies. They pay a lot out in, you know, claims, but it's, you know, how much are they going to profit after they pay the claims? And if they, you know, going to pay out because of claims more than they're going to profit, they won't do it. So there's a risk and reward there. And I understand it's a business model, and they have a responsibility to their shareholders or stockholders to make a profit. And that's just the way, you know, business and capitalism works. And the way to opt out is just don't participate. So, you know, if we can grow our own fruits and vegetables, or you can go buy organic and stuff like that, keep your body clean, exercise, strengthen your immune system, then you don't rely on chemicals and you have no worries. You know, your body's very resilient and very powerful. You know, its ability to fight off, you know, anything is really strong if you have a good immune system. And I see people that aren't, you know, I wouldn't consider them really healthy, but they never get sick and they never have any problems. And so body's powerful, and so I'd rely on it as opposed to chemicals. And speaking of chemicals, Thailand has tried to outlaw, in fact it did outlaw, you know, glyphosate and some of these herbicides and pesticides and stuff like that. But when it came time to actually taking them off the market, then the lobbyists from these chemical companies came in and went, you know, who knows what happened, you know, I won't even speculate, but for some reason, you know, they said, oh, well, they're going to need time to transition from using these, you know, because they're using, you know, glyphosate and stuff, which is a weed killer. But obviously, they're using GMO seeds because it doesn't kill the rice, doesn't kill corn and stuff like that, these herbicides, but it kills the weeds. And so they're heavily reliant. And, you know, it reminds me of what my mama used to tell me, you know, just because your friends do it doesn't mean you should do it. And just because everybody here is doing it and you see around the world, if everybody's doing something, doesn't mean you have to do it. You know, use your own judgment and what you feel is best for you and go down that route. But just because everybody else is doing it, you know, Nat's mom, we saw her and one of her rice fields, not the ones that we eat, but other rice fields, she was spraying the herbicide. And Nat said, why do you do that? She said, well, everybody else is doing it. And so I don't think that's a good reason to do anything, because other people, and I've always been one that shunned what was popular. And so I've always been that way. And I think now is a good time to have that trait, is to, you know, watch and wait, see what happens before you jump in and do what everybody else is doing. And so we'll see. And so we're hoping to have all these things that we'll be able to eat that'll be free from all these chemicals and stuff like that. So anyway, I just wanted to reach out to y'all and let you know we got another update coming, which will get you up to speed of all the things that are happening on the farm. And I think you'll be excited. We are. One other thing I want to leave you with, and I think this is really important, so I'm going to add it in here because we're talking about chemicals and about health and things like that. I'm always relying on signals. You know, information is coming in because information pours in from different sources. You know, I used to work for FEMA and things like that, and so there's a lot of connections, a lot of signals come in from different areas. And I want to mention something really quickly. No matter how you feel about the current situation in the world regarding the pandemic and vaccines and stuff like that, which I can't talk about in Thailand anymore. So I've just been avoiding the subject anyways, but there's something I think that's really critically important to mention at this point. no matter how you feel about the efficacy or safety or whatever, if you're in Thailand, the amount of signals that are coming from around the world, if you're in Thailand, you should have health insurance. And I think this is critical at this juncture. And the amount of, like I said, the amount of signals that are coming in about these vaccines is thought-provoking at least. And so I implore you, if you don't have insurance, now I have health insurance, I have major medical, and I have major medical that I've always talked about through Pacific Cross, and I have a great agent. And I reached out to the agent and said, if there's any adverse reactions from vaccines, and I have Pacific Cross insurance, will I be covered for treatment? And Jamie, he's a great guy, he reached out to me and said, yeah, absolutely, you'll be covered for any kind of adverse effects. And now I think what's going to happen in the near future, things are going to ramp up. It's going to be really hard to get in touch with insurance companies. Also, I've reported in the last few weeks on my weekly update in the member site that there was a couple of insurance companies that are canceling their COVID insurance policy, or removing that policy that had COVID included in it. And what they've done is there's a governing board for insurance companies in Thailand, and they came back and said, no, you can't cancel these people's insurance. Now, you can cancel that policy going forward, but anybody that has bought the policy will continue to be covered. And I think this is a real important distinction. I'm going to give you in the description Jamie's email address so you can jump the queue because they're overwhelmed. I think you should jump the queue, get in touch with Jamie, and get a policy that will cover you in case there's any adverse reactions from the vaccine. You'll be covered, because in the future, who knows, they could cancel that policy, but you'll be grandfathered in and you'll have coverage. And I think this is critical. And so I'll leave the email, a special email that I have for Jamie at Pacific Cross, and like I said, you'll jump the queue and you'll get a response really quick compared to the normal channels. And reach out to Jamie and see what fits for you. He can offer solutions and advice no matter where you fit in your budget or whatever. He'll take care of you. And I think this is extremely critical at this situation or this juncture, is to make sure you're covered for any adverse reactions from vaccines. So I'll put that email down. But that's it. That's all I have to talk about today. A lot of new stuff going on the farm. So we'll have another video coming out really quick and get you up to date on some of the things that are happening on the farm. I'm real excited to share with you what we're doing, how we're doing it, and everything like that. But this, I just wanted to do this little short video for you and get you up to speed with things that have been on my mind and I've been thinking about, and I wanted to share with you all. So that's it. And remember, when it comes to staying healthy, you know there's always an option. Take care, stay well, stay strong. JC out. Hey, JC here. If you like that video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel here. Also, we have another video up here you're going to be really interested in watching as well. And if you're looking for all the details of how to retire in Thailand in one place, plus a group of people to support you, check this out over here. Give it a click.